Hi traders, this is Vance out of Seattle, Washington, and welcome to our section on how to store and own cryptocurrency safely. Probably just like me, at one point everyone is a little bit concerned about how this works because it is so new, but you're going to find out very quickly that handling cryptocurrency safely is probably a lot easier than anything else we're currently doing. You've probably heard a little bit about people that have hacked into systems and stolen Bitcoin. I know that's been a big story. There's a bit of a misconception there because the Bitcoin network has never actually been hacked, and there's a reason for that. When you think of hackers, maybe in a movie or something, you think of this young genius hacking into a centralized system and stealing something, right? Well, that is what happened, but the Bitcoin network was not hacked. So the way that this works is Bitcoin cannot be hacked because unlike a centralized service, say like Wells Fargo, let's say you've got an account at your bank, you log in and you see a ledger. Here's how much I deposited, I withdraw this, withdraw that, deposit, and so on, right? So debits and credits. That's really what the blockchain is. It's a ledger, at least the main blockchain. And so that's the way your bank works. With distributed ledger or blockchain, there's a copy of that ledger literally on tens of thousands of computers. So even if you hacked into one of them and changed it, and you tried to say, ooh, this is my money now, the rest of the network would say, sorry, this is not your money. That's not the balance that we have. So that's not hackable. So in order to access the money that's stored within the blockchain, you have a private key that you turn. And only you should have these private keys. So what got hacked? Well, just like all the hacking you've heard about, it's when these private keys are stored in a centralized location that's vulnerable to attack. That's how it happens. So this was happening a lot more years ago because these safe practices had not evolved yet. And today there's really not hardly any hacking going on at all. I mean, they're trying, but people are getting much better at it. But the bottom line is that if you follow certain guidelines that I'm going to give you, your assets are not only going to be safe, you're going to feel very comfortable and confident in using them. Okay, now I'm going to give you some examples of wallets. This is Coinbase, which is the largest exchange in the United States, but I'm going to be using them as an example of a wallet here right now. So I'm going to go ahead and log in and show you exactly what a wallet looks like. So this is what it looks like on the login side. As you can see, there's Bitcoin wallet, Bitcoin Cash wallet, Ethereum wallet, and a Litecoin wallet. So there's a very limited number of cryptos you can buy here. As you can see right now, I do have some Litecoin sitting on this exchange. Now all of the wallets work in the same way. This is a software program that actually does its function without ever showing any private keys. And so let's say that I wanted to send something. If I want to receive something, I just give someone my address like I did here, and this was a couple days ago, and gave them the address and they sent me Litecoin. But if I wanted to send to someone else, let's say I click on send here, I would need a legitimate address. I'm going to go ahead and put in the address for the Litecoin Foundation, who's always working to improve, and that allows me to punch in some codes. Let's say I wanted to give them $1. Say, hey man, great job guys. I could send them $1. No sweat off my back, right? And the fees would be maybe 2 cents, 3 cents at the most. As you'll see shortly, one of the things that makes this safe is that in order to actually move this money, there has to be authentication codes. So watch this. So I click continue. Now it says in order to move this money, I've got to type in a verification code that will be on a cell phone, whichever cell phone number that I choose to use, and we'll be talking about that later. But it's very safe. and we'll talk more about this. By the way, these codes are generated every 20 seconds. So if you get a code on the phone and you don't enter it within 20 seconds, then you're going to need to get the new number that's listed there. And so in this way, there's multiple ways to confirm that. So let's say, for example, someone did get your login codes for whatever reason. They would still need the cellular telephone with the authentication app giving them that number, every 20 seconds in order to move the money. This next slide is just a random picture I took off the internet. It's probably an older version of the Exodus wallet, which is very good for desktops. So that would be your own computer in your home or business where you would download it. This is pretty popular right now, and there's a lot of digital assets you can store on them safely. So you might be wondering, well, how safe is it to store this on my computer? Well, the safest way to do it is to have maybe a separate laptop that you store offline, and you only bring it on when you're doing transfers. And that's what's referred to as cold storage. This next one is a mobile wallet. As you might imagine, there are a lot of mobile wallets. You definitely want to do your homework and use one that has a bit of a track record. This next one is an example of a hardware wallet. So it's designed specifically to be cold storage. This one is called Trezor, which I like, but you'll learn about others like Nano. And finally, paper wallets could be a transaction that's generated onto paper, or it could be just something that you write down on a piece of paper. And these are typically thought of as the absolute safest way to do it. Me personally, I don't do this. I feel pretty confident with the other wallets. Okay, in this last part, I want to provide you with a few tips for setting up your first account. What you're doing is moving from traditional currency and banking into new currency and new types of banking. And so since it's banking, that means the government requires the exchange to know who you are. The best suggestion I can make is just to leave your expectations out of this. You're entering a new space, and once you're on the inside, in a short period of time, you're going to see how much this technology is going to impact the world. Safety rule number 1, never ever store login or recovery information in digital form. That means you write all codes down on paper. I suggest you keep this in a safe place and also keep a backup in a separate location. Now, I would encourage you to take some notes here. I think it'll really help you out. You're going to need an email address, smartphone, Google Authenticator, which you download from Play Store on your phone, driver's license, your driver's license, and you might need a webcam. Sometimes as part of the verification, people are randomly selected and they say, okay, now turn on your webcam and take a picture of yourself sitting in front of your computer. So that has to do with the know your customer stuff. They're going to ask you to verify who you are, verify your bank account, and set up the two-step verification process, which is the Google Authenticator that you're going to download from Google Play Store. Now write this down because this is very important. When you're setting up two-step verification on your phone, which is not the first part, but you'll get to it, there's going to be an area that gives you a 16-digit code. Write that down. It's called a seed. You just keep this just in case, on the outside chance, your cell phone gets damaged and you can't recover the data. You can fund your account in a few ways at the time I'm recording this, using your debit card, wiring money, and attaching a bank account. Debit cards will allow you to get some capital into the exchange very quickly, buy a little crypto, maybe $50 worth, and get familiar with how all of this works. Push the buttons. Now here's the difference between bank wires and attaching a bank account. First, bank wires take about 3 days, and the last time I checked, the minimum bank wire was $10,000. You can't buy for 3 days, but once you do buy, you can actually sell, move those assets around immediately. Now with an attached bank account, you can buy right away and you can lock in whatever price you bought at. However, you won't be able to sell or move those digital assets around for 5 to 10 days. What I see most people doing is getting a little crypto with their debit card and then attaching their bank account and buying when the prices are right. That's about it. Just take your time, keep at it, and this will all get set up. And while it may sound like a lot, setting up and funding your first crypto account is really most of the work, in my opinion. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.